Number 10, Neverwinter is a port of a PC MMORPG that works surprisingly well on a controller. It takes place in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. It is not graphically intense by any means, but it does look serviceable. It does sometimes chug a bit, but it's gotten markedly better since it first came out. And although it doesn't offer anything particularly innovative, I would say, it does sort of organize everything in a manner that makes a lot more sense than a lot of other ones, and that tends to make it feel refreshing on a constant basis, which is probably one of the more important features in an MMO. And because of this, I think it's a standout game, actually, despite not being really special in any particular way. It's just really solid and quite a bit of fun. It has a good loop, and it's worth some of your time. Number 9 is Gwent, and of course that was a good idea on the part of CD Projekt Red. You see, the minigame Gwent in The Witcher 3 is actually one of the more interesting and fun things about the game, and you can easily get sucked into playing just that. Gwent is the card game with some expanded rules and ideas presented in a very simple interface that is fun as hell, let's just be honest. Whenever I got absorbed into Gwent in the actual Witcher game, I would actually get annoyed that I'd have to go back to Witcher, not that I didn't want to play Witcher, but because I wanted to play Gwent. This solves that. Gwent is fun as hell. Play it. Number 8 is Smite, a massively multiplayer online battle arena game in which you utilize the gods of old in conquest. The unique selling point this brings to the table is that it brings you the perspective of the god that you are in control of, which definitely does set it apart. It feels like you're playing something very active, and although a lot of the rules are similar to other MOBAs, the game is actually always improving. It is a pretty damn good game, although at times it feels a little unbalanced, particularly in the matchmaking. I don't think that's enough to make it not fun, and certainly there are things to nitpick about this game, but overall it's actually one of the better MOBAs in general, not just free-to-play. Number 7 is Path of Exile, a free-to-play action RPG that labels its microtransactions as ethical, and it does actually do a lot of different things from your typical microtransaction economy, specifically that there isn't an in-game currency, which is always nice to know, but basically what you're looking at is a game that does draw a lot of inspiration from Diablo, particularly the second in that series, and essentially runs a class-based dungeon crawling experience that, frankly, I can't help but think is a great game. Number 6 is World of Tanks, a game that accurately explains itself with its title. It is a massively multiplayer online game where you roll around in a tank and PvP the hell out of a bunch of other players who are also rolling around in a tank. While it is certainly an absolutely outlandish version of reality, the tanks are fairly accurate to real-life tanks, but with some degree of customization on pretty much every vehicle, and frankly, it's one of those games that just sucks you in. It's simple, but it's fun. Number 5 is Fallout Shelter, a game in which you build and manage a vault, building a population that generates resources and sustains itself, as well as procreates in a post-apocalyptic world. It's one of those games that came out of nowhere and was really fun. And that's not to say it doesn't have its problems, but they're nothing that's glaring. It would be easy to call it a cash grab if it weren't so good, I think. And if you haven't played it and are looking for a new free-to-play game on your Xbox, try this. I think you'll probably like it if you like basically any sim-type game. Number 4 is Phantom Dust, a game that was re-released on the Xbox One from its original Xbox release that didn't really get enough attention. It's a bit of a weird game. It was produced and directed by the same guy who did Panzer Dragoon. It's a third-person shooter that combines that with elements of collectible card games. And suddenly you know exactly why a lot of people thought this game was ahead of its time looking back. It makes so much more sense in our time than it did in its original release in 2004, and it's really interesting because it doesn't just provide a weird sort of window into the past, it correctly predicted a lot of trends in gaming, and it's worth looking at. Number 3 is Warframe, a game that places players in co-op missions as well as PvP matches, very similarly to Destiny, let's say. But I'll say this, I haven't actually ever seen them make any of the missteps that Destiny has, and that to me makes this a superior game, and that will probably make some people a little bit antsy, but if you take that formula and deal with developers that are a little bit more gracious towards their community, you basically have Warframe, and aside from some more world-specific changes, if you're interested in Destiny and want to play something like it, this is is probably something to check out. Number 2 is Killer Instinct, a new entry to a series that started in 1994 and hadn't seen a new release in a very long time. Killer Instinct is pretty much a great reboot of an old series that also functions as perhaps one of the few truly great free-to-play, quote-unquote AAA fighting games. And finally, number 1 is Fortnite, which gives you 2 modes, the more traditional Fortnite idea, as well as a Battle Royale mode that has effectively usurped PUBG as the Battle Royale mode by having art style, unique items, and nothing that was purchased in an Unreal asset store. Bringing its regular gameplay modes, building mechanics into the Battle Royale mode was an interesting idea, and it works out very well. Frankly, this is a fun as hell version of Battle Royale. I enjoy it, I play it all the time, and I've been playing it more than PUBG lately. That's not to say it's better, these are 2 different games, but this one is free to play, and I kinda like it a bit more. Now there's quite a few games available free to play on any platform you're going to play, and we would like to know which one you like the most, so leave us a comment, tell us which games you are playing free to play on Xbox One right now, and if you like this video, do us a big favor, click the like button. If you're not subscribed, now is a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is of course a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon, you can follow me